Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle. She is the needle. And if you need any more proof of that, the Indiana Fever exhibition game sold out in just about 30 minutes.
When the Indiana Fever revealed that Caitlin Clark would be coming to Iowa to play Brazil, it only took 36 minutes for every seat to be gone. Imagine selling out a whole arena for a preseason game before the general public even had a chance to purchase tickets.
So the Fever are playing in Iowa, and the game sold out in literally, like, it didn't matter how long it took to sell out, you couldn't even get in. If you were there, you probably didn't get it.
The roar when Clark hits her first logo three, and the collective gasp when she makes one of those impossible passes, are what fans of Clark's Iowa career know to expect. Carver Hawkeye Arena will soon become the focus of women's basketball, and those who are fortunate enough to have tickets will be able to see history come full circle.
Exciting news, Fever fans! We are coming to Iowa City! We are thrilled to announce that the Indiana Fever will face off against the Brazilian national team in a preseason exhibition at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Caitlin Clark makes her return home to the University of Iowa on May 4th.
Did you notice that Caitlin Clark's homecoming game in Iowa vanished entirely from ticket websites in just 36 minutes? If it weren't for Clark's return to her college stomping grounds, this preseason game between the Indiana Fever and Brazil's national team would hardly have been noticed. We're not talking about a championship game here.
So just about a month ago, it was announced that the Indiana Fever would be playing an exhibition game, preseason game, against the Brazilian national team, which would be taking place in Iowa's Hawkeye Carver Arena.
It was like dropping a basketball bomb on Iowa when the Fever announced they would be playing at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Tickets went on sale at 9 a.m. By 9:36 a.m., thousands of fans were already hovering over their refresh buttons, ready to jump in with their credit cards in hand. Not even 40 minutes later, each and every seat.
The tickets went on pre-sale at 9 a.m. and by 9:36, they were gone and they weren't even available to the public.
But here's where it gets even stranger. These tickets were initially only accessible to iClub members and Hawkeye contributors, and these devoted supporters quickly grabbed them all. The general public never had a chance to purchase any of them.
Public here. I read that the tickets were only available to Kinnick Gold Society members, and I think it's like or one club level donors. And the tickets were supposed to go on sale Friday morning, but they're sold out. So I really don't know what they're going to do about this. I guess it's just kind of like one of those missed opportunities.
Take a moment to consider this. How often have you seen a WNBA preseason game sell out, much less than 30 minutes before regular fans could even click buy? One source claimed that there was a 10% chance that you could get them if you try to buy them, which is completely insane. And they are correct. This is total madness for women's basketball.
I would say there were 15,000 tickets. Obviously, I think Iowa season ticket holders got first dibs, which is right if they did. And then you're looking at a situation where basically no Fever fans got them. It's a preseason game. This is a preseason game, and it's sold out in about 10 seconds. Like, there was a 10% chance if you tried to buy them, you could get them, which is mad.
Fans were already buzzing after the Fever's social media statement. Are you prepared, Iowa? We're heading to Carver Hawkeye Arena for a preseason matchup against the Brazilian national team. Little did they anticipate that this statement would set off an unprecedented ticketing frenzy.
You know, a lot of people are saying they need to move this to a stadium because there's no doubt in Iowa, if you move this to a stadium, it would be sold out.
This is particularly noteworthy because preseason games usually create about the same level of excitement as Tuesday morning practices, exhibition games, and warm-ups, which die-hard fans may attend but infrequently create this kind of stir. However, here we are, with a preseason game generating the kind of demand typically reserved for championship finals.
And pretty crazy that it sold out in just over 30 minutes, not even to the general public, kind of like her Wilson basketball selling out before it was announced to the general public. Everything Caitlin Clark touches turns to gold.
Not only is there excitement going on, but there's also a total change in potential of women's basketball and its economic implications. The cultural importance is unusual how one player can generate this type of demand. This isn't simply a charming tale of a well-liked player returning home. It's verifiable proof that women's basketball is poised to enter a new era.
I've always been a big fan of the Louisiana teams, as I was born in Louisiana. But after the first time I saw Caitlin Clark was like an injection straight into my body, and I never turned back.
How did this game sell out so quickly then? Caitlin Clark is more than simply a basketball player. She has become a cultural icon who is transforming not only the game, but also its business, which may be her greatest accomplishment to yet.
If you guys did not see it, look at the price of these tickets. This is like right after the tickets went on sale. So no good seats. $1,142 for a not very good.
Since all the tickets have been sold out, the real chaos has started on resale websites. Do you recall the days when watching women's basketball was thought to be a more affordable option than men's games? Now that the games are officially over, seats that would typically cost $30 are suddenly fetching prices that would make NBA executives cringe. And people are actually paying for them.
I'm guessing 10 grand minimum courtside to go see Caitlin Clark. And look, obviously, Chicago are playing at LSU. It might sell out, it might not. Not costing $1,000. $1,000.
The secondary market exploded with listings within hours of the sellout, leaving fans completely shocked. We're not talking about courtside seats here. Rather, we're talking about the actual back row of the arena. These nose bed seats are now selling for $650 before fees, which brings the total cost to almost $700 after everything is added, all just to sit as far away from the action as possible.
$656 for a seat at the very back. That is literally what you're paying, and $655 for the last row. $650. This is before fees, by the way. So when you go with fees, it's $750 to sit in the back row. The back row is $750. I've never seen a game be this expensive.
Let me put this in perspective for you. For example, back row seats for the championship-deciding game of the 2019 NBA Finals. The final game ever played at Oracle Arena cost about $300. Now, compare that to a preseason game where Clark might only play 20 minutes, and these seats are selling for more than twice that amount.
Add that it's all in recent years. Like, back in the day, I wanted to go to Game 6. I was in San Diego for the summer, so I wanted to go to Game 6 of the 2019 Finals, the last ever game at Oracle. And tickets were like, for the back seats were like $300.
One die-hard basketball fan summed up what's occurring perfectly. Supporters are in full shock. I've never seen a game this pricey before. It's insane that in recent years, the Clark effect has been manifested in actual numbers, and women's basketball prices are now on par with or even higher than those of significant men's playoff games.
To watch Game 6 of the 2019 Finals, it's now $600 to watch one Caitlin Clark preseason game, where she's going to play 20 minutes. She's going to play 20 minutes in it, and it's still going to cost that much, which is madness. Which is mad.
What's really astounding is that these aren't just lofty listings that are sitting unsold. People are actually purchasing tickets at these outrageous prices. Consider this. Would you pay $750 to watch a preseason game in the back row of an arena? For most of us, the answer is no. But thousands of people are saying that it would be worth it to see Caitlin Clark's homecoming.
Basically, the reason why it's there is like, look, it's Caitlin Clark playing under the jersey she got retired. Like, it's really a situation where you're just like, okay, yeah, Caitlin Clark got the jersey retired, even though it would be better in the football stadium. Like, you could pack out a football stadium again just to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. You could pack out 50K. You could. Whatever the record is for a women's basketball game, you could set it to watch Caitlin Clark.
When people are willing to spend almost $1,000 to be in the same building as a player, it's not just fandom. A cultural shift is taking place right in front of our eyes. The economics of women's basketball are being completely rewritten in real time. This isn't just about fans getting excited. It's about them voting with their wallets in a way we've never seen before.
If you charge, let's say you charge $30,000 a ticket, you could sell it at $80,000. Like, if there's any way of putting Caitlin Clark's game in, like, the middle of a football field, yeah, not that many people are going to be able to see it. But, like, it's the same with boxing in a football stadium, and people still do it. So, Why not?
Why are supporters spending all their money on these tickets when they know that this is a historic occasion and not just another basketball game? The first time back is unique, and people are eager to spend top dollar to say, I was there when Caitlin Clark returned to the place where she rewrote record books and captured the nation's attention. This homecoming may never occur again, at least not in this manner.
I was a fan of the WNBA beforehand, and I do love the WNBA. I do love other teams. I do love other players, but Caitlin Clark playing in Iowa really changed my view on looking at basketball, and what that girl did and what she is doing now is something that I have never seen in the game, and I cannot look away.
Have you ever noticed the unique energy that permeates an arena when a real superstar takes a court? Well, imagine that 1,000 times over when Caitlin Clark takes the court at Carver Hawkeye Arena. This homecoming is more than simply a basketball game. It's about seeing a once-in-a-lifetime athlete return to the location of her birthplace.
I personally was actually wanting to get to a Carver Arena game because I've never been, and I know that crowd, and a lot of you guys that are probably watching that video can attest to the insanity that the Carver Hawkeye Arena exhibits, especially for one Caitlin Clark. This is going to be a game not to be missed, people.
For amazing years, the building itself seemed to pulsate with excitement whenever Clark had the ball, and now she's returning not in black and gold, but in fever red, standing beneath her own jersey hanging in the rafters. Carver Hawkeye was more than just Iowa's home court. It was the beating heart of women's college basketball. Every game turned into an event, and every shot had the potential to be a highlight.
Obviously, look, it's Caitlin Clark going back to Iowa to play where her jersey was retired. Like, that's always going to happen.
It wasn't just a highlight, though. It was the epitome of the magic that occurs when Clark and Hawkeye combine the ball, leaving her fingertips the perfect arc. The net snapping as a buzzer sounds, and then pure chaos. That's the kind of electricity you can't manufacture, and it's precisely what makes this return so special. Remember that astounding buzzer beater against Indiana, the one where 15,000 fans collectively went crazy?
I actually forgot who it was that said this, but they basically called the Iowa Hawkeye Carver Arena the sixth man of the team, and I cannot disagree because the injection of energy that that crowd puts into the team must be so important and such an impact on what they do on the court.
The people who work at Carver Hawkeye are what really set apart, not simply the structure. Juju Watkins of USC, who freely acknowledged how much the crowd affected her team's performance, is the best example of this. With 15,000 spectators yelling at the top of their lungs while watching every dribble, pass, and shot, it creates an atmosphere that is unmatched in women's basketball.
I mean, Juju Watkins mentioned how affected the USC team were by the Iowa Hawkeye Carver Arena, and it just so happened that the Iowa Hawkeyes upset USC last week or a little bit before that and took over that game. I know that Gainesbridge Arena does go crazy for the Indiana Fever now, but I do wonder if it's at the same level as the Iowa Hawkeye Carver.
Iowa supporters are more than just spectators. They are what players and coaches refer to as the sixth player. Their energy permeates the arena and onto the court, giving a home team a true home court advantage that can drastically alter the course of games. The crowd does more than simply react to pivotal plays. They also help create them, propelling the home team to heights they might not otherwise achieve.
We can all be so fortunate to be living in a time of such change, of such big, enigmatic, generational talent existing in a time that we are alive. At least that's how I feel.
Imagine what that means for WNBA veterans like Dananna Boner and Natasha Howard. These women have competed at the highest levels of basketball, won championships, and played in the Olympics, but they have never seen anything like Carver Hawkeye at full throttle the twist. This time, they are playing with a player who transforms an arena into a Thunderdome, not in front of that crowd.
Truth be told, I gotta wonder how DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, Sophie Cunningham are dealing with this and how excited they must be, because this is going to be like nothing else they have probably ever been involved in. The absolute sheer decibel level of Iowa Hawkeye Arena is probably going to pump them up. I mean, I hope it's going to pump them up. And I'm really, really looking forward to them having experiences, because after Duana Bonner being in Connecticut, Natasha Howard having been in Dallas,